Hello everybody, this is State Representative Elgie Sims coming to you from the Capitol. We just got done listening to Governor Rauner talking about the budget for the upcoming year. As you know, Illinois has been without a budget for the last 3 years, last 2 years, and this is Governor Rauner's third budget address, and we still have a lot to be desired, and there's still a lot that the governor did not address in his address before the Illinois General Assembly, joint session of the Illinois General Assembly. Some of the things that I heard from the governor talked about, and that I do agree with. I agree that it's time for us to work together. I agree that it is time for us to put politics aside. The problem is that the governor failed to do that. The governor failed to outline a plan that will allow us to move forward. The governor failed to present a budget that would fully fund and invest in our educational system. I waited to hear a plan from the governor relative to the spending that has not been happening in communities around this great state. The damage that has been done to our social services safety network, the damage that has been done to our educational system, the damage that has been done to our higher education system. I did not hear a plan from the governor relative to how we're going to pay down the old bills that have accrued over the last several years. When the governor came into office, we had about $4 billion in unpaid bills. That backlog of unpaid bills is up to over $11 billion, with scheduled to go to as high as $15 billion or as $20 billion by the end of next fiscal year. So I didn't hear a plan from the governor to talk about how we were going to address those issues. The fact is, we didn't even see a budget. The governor has not met his constitutional duty to present a balanced budget to the General Assembly for the last several years. And it's time for us to move forward and to address the issues that are facing our communities. What the governor continued to talk about was the political agenda that he's been talking about for the last several years, that he's been talking about issues that have nothing to do with the budget. They have nothing to do with how we're going to fund our educational system, how we're going to fund health care, how we're going to fund violence prevention services for individuals in our communities. I represent the city of Chicago, the southern suburbs of Chicago, and down in the rural Will and Kankakee County. Over the last several days, we've seen some horrific instances. In the last year in the city of Chicago, there were several hundred shooting deaths and over the thousands of shootings that happened in the city of Chicago and across this state. But the governor did not talk about plans to invest in communities to make sure that we are addressing those issues and addressing the concerns, but we continue to talk about a political agenda. It's time out. People want to hear a real plan for how we're going to turn this state around. I agree. I want to join with the governor and members on both sides of the aisle to make sure that we are moving our state forward. But that is not going to happen if we continue to talk about politics as usual and putting politics before people. That's not what we're here to do. That's not what my constituents sent me here to do, and that's not what I want to engage in. But we continue to hear the governor talk a great deal in his speech about job creators. And when I hear job creator, I think about the small businesses that are investing in communities, because we know that 2/3 of all new jobs are going to be created by small and medium-sized businesses, not the wealthiest of the wealthy and the 1%ers. And the governor continues to invest and to focus on creating opportunities for the wealthiest of Illinois citizens without focusing on growing our middle class and making sure we have opportunities for the most vulnerable populations. So I'm going to continue to work through my work here in Springfield to make sure we're providing opportunities for disadvantaged communities and making sure that we're providing hope for those communities, so that the violence that is plaguing our communities we are addressing. And that's only going to happen when we focus on making sure that communities have opportunities, that individuals have economic opportunities that will allow them to provide for themselves and their families. So in an effort to continue to keep you informed, I'm going to keep bringing these messages to you and let you know what we're doing in Springfield. We just got done holding a meeting of the House Judiciary Criminal Committee where we took up several legislative measures. But all of those legislative measures, we want to make sure that our criminal justice system is working effectively. And that's why I wanted to hear from the governor. I wanted to hear a plan for how we're going to invest in individuals, how we're going to invest in communities, how we're going to make sure we're growing our economy, not just for the wealthiest, not just for the biggest corporations, but for small and medium-sized businesses and providing economic opportunities for all communities. So I'm going to continue to fight for that, and I'm going to keep you informed about those efforts. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.